Hello and welcome to ThomasGeigerCar. Today with the second generation of the Toyota CHR. The car that is not only the most fancy vehicle in the European Toyota lineup, but also one of the most expressive compact SUVs. Styled as a coupe, very bold, very fancy. Will it hit the road towards the beginning of the next year? If you want to know all the details right now, join me on my first test drive and I'll tell you all about it. But before we get behind the wheel, let's just take a moment to take a look at the size and the shape of the vehicle. Size hasn't changed too much. It's still roughly 4.40 meters in length, so it's pure compact class. But the shape has gotten even more expressive than the outgoing model. The designers are claiming this is a show car just ready for the streets. And yes, it is expressive, but don't be fooled by that fancy look. That is too fancy for the production car. We're still way ahead of the market launch, so they're claiming it to be a prototype. So imagine this peel coming off, but at least you'll have a two-color scheme. We have small windows, high waist, and most of all, we have that fancy, almost sport car back with very expressive lights, with a roof spoiler that looks like on a NASCAR race car. So overall, this is more expressive than you would have ever imagined from a Toyota. Driving the new generation CHR is a bit like driving every Toyota. It just drives, nothing to recognize, nothing too special. It is just an easy, comfortable rolling. But the continuous variable transmission, the CVT transmission, is getting better by generation after generation, so you don't have this chainsaw feeling anymore. It's just a smooth shift of gears, and the blending of electric motor and petrol engine is really easy, and you don't feel anything of that. Talking about the powertrains, Toyota is offering the CHR in 3 different variants. We have the base version, that is a 1.6 liter petrol engine with a hybrid coming up to 140 horsepower. We have the a bit stronger version with a 1.8 liter and 198 horsepower. This is also available as an all-wheel drive, since the CHR is kind of an SUV and you might want to have all-wheel drive with that. And the third version, and that's the most interesting one, is the first ever plug-in hybrid in the CHR, giving you a total power output of 223 horsepower and the ability to drive roughly 66 kilometers on electric power alone. Energy is stored in a battery of 13 kilowatt hours. That gives you a bit of an autonomy, and if you have your usual drive cycles in Germany, the average daily commute is less than 20 kilometers, so you should be fine over the week, and if you charge it overnight, everything is good. So that's about driving. One figure I've forgotten. The car is, especially as the plug-in hybrid, pretty aggressive, and it accelerates from 0 to 100 in 7.3 seconds. Top speed is a little limited, 180. Lots of conventional cars go much faster in the C segment, and the entry-level model is limited to 170 kilometers. If we take a look around while we wait for green light, we see the usual Toyota layout as we know it, for example, from Yaris and Corolla. We have a really high center console, we have a small gear lever, we have digital cluster instrument and another big screen aside of it, and as a novelty for the CHR, for the first time ever, a digital rear view mirror. Yes, the designers have changed the shape of the rear, so the window is a bit wider than just the letterbox or your mailbox at home, but still very limited visibility, and for that reason we have a digital rear view mirror. So you can use the mirrored glass, or you can tilt it, and then you have a camera view and you see the full picture to the back, no matter if you have grown-ups on the back seat, if you loaded your trunk up to the roof, no matter if you are blocked by the small rear window, you have the full visibility with the digital camera picture. Thank you for joining me on that first test drive with the new Toyota CHR. A car that sticks true to itself and even strengthens its capabilities because it's looking more expressive than ever before. On the one hand, it's a typical Toyota, focusing on the hybrid technology, focusing on safety and security, and yes, with a kind of a boring interior as well. Good material quality, but not as inspired as the exterior design. On the other hand, it is so totally un-Toyota, technology-wise, because Toyota has added the plug-in hybrid that gets you at least 60-70 kilometers of electric driving. On the other hand, because it is such a fancy car. But in a segment as huge as this, you just need a bit of fanciness and modernness to make the car stick out of the crowd. Thank you, Tschüsschen, Seitchen, and goodbye.